I think today we are talking about more and more is belong the clinical cases. I think everybody will be interested in that. That cannot so boring. And cắt để nhau. Okay. Okay, it's on. Okay, this is my topic. Today I'd like to share with you the clinical application of full arch dental implant reconstruction, which is based on the method of TSCT, one operation implantology. I think firstly I introduce what is the TSCT, one operation implantology. TSCT, it means Tony Simplified Concept Technique. I am Tony. I create this technique, which is based on my long-term, over 30 years and a massive implant treatment experience. So today I will share it with you. And one operation implantology, it means during the implant treatment, I perform all the surgical procedure in one operation. So also I call it is Tony's one operation implantology. First, I show you the real clinical situation of Tony one operation implantology. Like this case, we just after put the implant and we place the final abutment immediately at the same time of the surgery, and before schedule we put an elastic silicone cap. I create this cap, and after my name I call it is Tony Cap. Tony Cap gives us many benefits in clinical use, such like this case. We just put Tony Cap layer for several days, and we got a very nice soft tissue profile. And this make the following procedure of the final impression and the final prosthetic become easy and simple. And this is the other case before impression, like this situation, and we also put a Tony Cap layer, and after 2 days later we got an opened soft tissue profile there. And this make the final the impression become easy and simple. And also in some situation I combined use the GVR procedure in the same operation. And at this moment the Tony Cap must be a stabilizer to fix the membrane, and this make the surgery simple. Even in a very difficult situation like this case, we also combined use the GVR procedure in the same operation. And you see, we compare this is before and this is after 3 months later. Look, we have a very good result. And this is the same very difficult situation we perform in one operation, and also we have good result. Not only the hard tissue, the bone graft, but also the soft tissue, the gingiva graft. This gingiva graft cut from the part of the side of the same wound, and we combine both grafting together to perform in one operation. And we compare this is before treatment and this is after 4 months later, 5 months later. It's a very short time, and we got a good result. But we only take one operation and we finish the final processes. The other case, maxilla anterior region, immediate implantation and buccal site dehiscency. We put a bone graft and we put the gingival graft cut from the retromolar area, and we combined both graft together to perform in one operation. And this is after 3 weeks later. You see, we have very well the soft tissue healing. And at this moment, we get the patient a fixed provisional. So this is the narrow ridge situation in maxilla anterior. Also, we put the implant, place the abutment and GBR grafting and finish in one operation. And this is after 2 weeks later. We look at the soft tissue healing well, and we give the patient a fixed provisional. And this is after 18 months later, we finish the final processes. This is the real TSCT Tony one operation implantology. And now we're talking about the rationale of one operation protocol. In recent years, there are several studies. The subject, they include the one-stage protocol, immediate loading, immediate implantation, and the soft tissue and hard tissue change between the conventional and the one-stage protocol. And all these systemic studies reveal the positive to support this protocol. And they got the conclusion of one-stage protocol could be an excellent implant prognosis and minimize the treatment time, and also could give the patient have more satisfaction. And regarding the one abutment one time, it means we place the final abutment immediately at the same time of the surgery and no longer take it out. In recent years, also have several studies include animals and clinical research. All these studies, they conclude that if you doing the implant, you take out, remove and put back the abutment so often, that is no benefit for stabilized the crest bone and the soft tissue healing surrounding the implant site. So, final abutment, we no longer take it out. We will have the advantages of less crest bone loss and improve the stability of here the soft and hard tissue. And last year, 2018, non-layer implant system, they raised an on-one concept. They use the on-one base abutment during the implant treatment, and then they no longer take this on-one base out. And they conclude that this could avoid the hard tissue and the soft tissue surrounding the implant site damage. And they said could got more good result. This is the same concept of one abutment one time. My personal experience, in 2012, I made a retrospective studies about this one operation protocol in my clinical cases. Under the situations of one-stage protocol, one abutment one time, we place the final abutment at the time of surgery, and we exclude the case less than initial stability less than 40 Newton per cm, and also we use the Tony cap. And we have 644 patients, and we have 1,482 anchor implant system implants, and we have 2 years follow-up, and we got the result a very high survival rate, 99.53%. And in 2014, from the January to March, I made a consecutive cases analysis in this protocol in single tooth implant. And also we exclude the case, the initial torque less than 40 Newton per cent. And we have the total implants 53, and we have got the final processes delivered days 77 days. And also we got a very high survival rate, 97.83%. Now let's move to today's real subject, full arch reconstruction. First, we go to the surgical phase, which is based on my one operation protocol. Just as I have mentioned that above, include such essential concepts, such like the bone driving implant site, one stage immediate loading, and one abutment one time, and we combine the use the GBR or GTR procedure in the one operation, and also we use the Tony cap to simplify it and facilitate the treatment. The first concept, natural bone driver implant location, which is a very important concept and very sensitive skill in one operation implantology. You see, like this case, very difficult situation, we select the implant location, where I have the natural bone, where we put the implant. You see, this case, the key point is that how to apply the existing natural bone to get good primary stability. In recent years, there are very hard topic about computer guide, digital guide, surgical plate, but that is cannot help you in this case. This is real handmade. We need your hand feeling to detect the bone quality and to drill a proper osteotomy and to get a good stability. And as good as possible, we avoid to put the implant in the defect area. Existing the natural bone is the first choice of the implant location. So in this case, we avoid to put the implant in the defect area. Even this area have bone grafting, we don't put. Like this case, bone graft, we don't put the defect area. So the natural bone driver the implant location in my one operation implantology is an important concept. Now I would like to show you some real clinical practice cases in the surgical phase. Like this case, flapless approach in the mandible, we insert the implant and we place the final abutment immediately, and we place Tony cap to finish the surgery. And there is a very important key point. That is, every implant we have to reach the stability over 40 Newton per cm. And in this case, the implant location is guided by the patient's or the denture. And in this case, maxilla immediate implantation. We extract all the retained teeth and we put implant and we place the final abutment immediately. And in this case, the implant location we guided by the extraction socket, and we use the angle abutment to correct the implant direction. And in the defect area, we put the bone graft and we put the PRF as the membrane, and we use the Tony cap and we finish the suture. The other more cases, all is the same situation, more is all-in-one treatment performed by Dr. Tony's all-in-one treatment approach. You will see the result in the following procedure. I will show you. One more case, maxilla immediate implantation, and also is by the one operation protocol. And this is finish the surgery with Tony cap put on. The other more two cases, the mandible immediate implantation, also is by the one operation protocol. We put the implant, put the final abutment, put the Tony cap and the suture. And this is the final situation of finish the suture, or finish the surgery. One more, a very difficult situation in maxilla, extraction the infected teeth and the crest defect, and also we performed by Tony's one operation protocol. And then this is the final situation of after finished the surgery, and they are put a Tony cap put on. And then now we finish the surgery. We take implantation immediately after after we finish the suture, and then we take the final implantation immediately, and we got a stone model with Tony cap. And after 7 days, we remove the suture, and we use a wax ring, which is made from the model with Tony cap. And we take vertical high leg coat directly in the patient's mouth. We use the same way of making a traditional full arch denture. Traditional full arch denture, based on they said raise the provision, subtract 2 or 4 millimeter, and we can get a proper vertical height. So now you see, we have a wax ring vertical height on the model, and then we take this vertical height leg coat and fix it on an articulator, and then our technician, they can complete the provisional. There are 2 ways we can complete by traditional laboratory technique. And recently we have because that is a trend of the high technique, we also buy digital CAD to complete the provisional. In this case, it's completed by provisional by CAD technique. I will show you this technique, Tony cap model technique. It's my way. It is my way. Also, I create this. So, briefly to introduce you how to do this. Like this, after surgery, take the impression, and we got a model stone, a stone model with Tony cap, and then we take bite, wax ring to take bite directly in the patient's mouth, and then we got a wax ring vertical high leg coat, and then we fix on the articulator, and then we we put into the scanner, table scanner. And we get a scanning and digital design by the computer, and then we make the medium machine. This is a PMMA material, and we direct a mirror in the KK medium machine, and we got a provisional like this. And in the tissue side, there is a Tony cap shape, hollow shape, is a hollow shape, and then in the chair side, we lining and trimming the margin to finish the final provision and the setting in the patient's mouth. This is my way. I create this way. It's a CAD with Tony cap model technique. I do my way, okay. So, like in this case, after 7 days, we finish the final processes. Like this, direct lining and trimming in the mouth, and finish the patient. After 7 days, the patient have restored his appearance and chewing function. And the other cases that I have shown you in the surgical phase, after a short period of time, you see, now we finish the provisional phase, and the patient restore his appearance and function, and also, you see, we have good implant site healing. So this is the one operation implantology of my way. All the ways I do this for over 20 more years. And this is one more case, immediate implantation in the maxilla, you see, without the bone graft. And this is 2 weeks later, you see the bone, when the healing well, and 3 weeks later, we give the patient the provisional, and then patient have the function. Now we finish the provisional phase. Now we waiting 3 or 4 months later, and then we go to the final prosthetic phase. The first we take out of the removal of the provisional, and we take impression. We take impression by the pentasoft, and then we got a pentaring. This pentaring is cut from the impression material, so I call it is the pentaring. And we use the pentaring. We use the pentaring to transfer the vertical height of the provisional to the permanent, and by using adjust the height of the pentaring. This is adjust the pentaring, the height of the pentaring. If under we increase it's over, we can cut off, and then we put in the model and try it in the patient's mouth, and we check the vertical height, and we take the registration, we take the bite, the same impression material, and then we got the same vertical height between provisional and final. So now we got a final vertical height record by pentaring. And then we take the vertical height pentaring and fix on articulator. You see this, and our technician they can complete the final metal framework, and then we try it in the patient's mouth. You see, it's very easy and very stable. Now we have a good metal framework try in the mouth, and then we take a bite again for double check the vertical height and the CR occlusion. Now we also make the metal framework by the CAD scanning and the digital design, just like I have mentioned that in the provisional, but we use the CAD machine. You see, this is a CAD machine. It is meaning, and we got the final metal framework. The here is made from the CAD mini, and then also we double check the bite, and we finish the final processes. Okay, this is finish the final processes. So now we briefly review the TSCT one operation implantology. In this case, in full arch reconstruction. In this case, we only take one operation, and after 7 days, we got the patient a provisional, and after 4 months later, we finish the final processes. This is in the overview, and in the meanwhile, we finish by the same way. We finish the mandible full arch reconstruction, and then now we have maxilla and the mandible full mouth implant reconstruction, and this is the overview. So now, this is the before treatment, and this is after treatment. You remember that all these cases I perform in one operation, or we only take one operation, nothing, only one operation. Now, we have a happy patient. This patient, very happy because he satisfied his appearance and he satisfied his children. I briefly conclude that all the cases I prefer to use the cement retained processes, and because there are no trouble with the screw transfer position during the fabricated procedure. Do you know the most the trouble is when we do the screw retained, we have to transfer the screw from the model to inside the mouth and transfer, and then you will lose the positioning, and it make you a trouble. So I don't like that, and this way also is less screw retained mechanical complication, such like screw loosened, such like the screw broken, and such as. So always I like simple. So this is my way, Tony simplified concept technique. And in this case, after 2 years follow-up, you see it is still very well. And this is in 2014, I did a live case show in a dental exhibition in Shanghai, in China, 2014 September. Live show. At that place, also I did a full arch reconstruction by my one operation protocol, like his. And in this case, after 30 days, the 30 days of this exhibition, dental exhibition, the 30 days, and we complete the provisional, and the patient ate an apple after the provisional delivery. And that day, the same day, we have the dinner together, and the patient give me an awesome, because he can eat very well in the dinner. So this case, 4 years follow-up, you see, we have a very good result. But you remember, only one operation. It's okay, it's a function. Now I will show you some of the clinical cases, share with you, which is based on my one operation implantology. The music has no voice, so we just look. All these cases, I do one operation. Okay, the last one more case, I'd like to show you a 98 years old senior. We did full mouth implant reconstruction by my work, by TSCT, one operation implantology. You see, this is a 98 years old senior. This is the final processes we deliver in the mandible. You see, it is so easy and so simple. And now we check the occlusion. Now both the maxilla and the mandible, both are the full arch reconstruction, and you see the linear appearance looks so harmonious. And you see the gentleman, he smiled so happy, and he is my oldest patient. This is before and this is after treatment, the X-ray. And 4 years later, now the gentleman, he was 102 years old. And at this moment, this year, he passed away. So, make the conclusion, TSCT, simple concept, simple technique, no patient, no too much suffering. So we improve this gentleman's life, and no matter what his age. Okay, the last I'd like to make a conclusion. The TSCT, one operation, full arch dental implant reconstruction. From the doctor's view to look at, which is a very simple technique, and we only need a simple team to complete the treatment. And our investment is the lowest, and our competitive is improve in our clinical business. And from the patient's view to look at, we only take one operation. There's too much the suffering for patient during the treatment, and we restore the patient's appearance and function so rapidly. Average is 2 weeks to 3 weeks. We give the patient provision, so patient can restore his function. And the last, the most important thing is patient highest satisfaction. Now, I will end my lecture here. So the last word, make the complex simple. It is the secret of a happy implantology. Thank you for your attention. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Zhou. Any questions to Dr. Zhou?
Oh, too much question.
Doctor, just for clarification, after the surgery, on the day of the surgery, you were able to restore provisional restoration?
The same day, if we could, we do that, because mostly we have no time on the chair side, because, and the other reason is because there is a bleeding and maybe some the anesthesis where disappear. So I prefer to do at the time of the surgery, immediate.
So that provisional restoration, is that resin restoration, plastic restoration?
Basically, I explained this way, the different between the traditional. Now we have so many ways to do the full arch complication, full arch reconstruction. They were pre-treatment. They were do a lot of the pre-treated, the paperwork, even the computer work and everything, and they will do a restoration. Maybe it's temporary, maybe provisional, and at the surgery they use that as a surgical guide, and they hope they can, after finish, they can match that processes. But in my way, I don't think that is a very because it wastes so much of the time.
So that's provisional is
after the meeting.
yeah, that's after the day. That's made in plastic.
Temporary.
Yeah, temporary.
Interim.
And then after how many months you will be able to?
3 months or 4 months depend the bone quality and it depend the patient's request. Because sometimes patients say, oh, I need a course first, I need quickly, so I do. Mostly in the average, in the general the implantation, I finish the final processes average 7 days, 2 weeks. I can finish the final processes, not the provisional. Shorten the waiting time. Maybe you cannot do that, but always I do that. Just like I will show you in 2012, I made my cases analysis that the average 77 days I deliver the final processes.
So that's already unlimited loading and functional loading.
Mainly functional loading because that is full arch. And average, I do the single or partial dangerous. I know immediate loading.
So do you have any?
If I split together, I will immediate loading.
What is your instruction to the patient to eat for a certain period of time, just soft diet, and then eventually it becomes harder to take some foods, or the patient can already eat hard
Because
foods?
we have too much time to discuss this, because there is some the key points we have to follow, such like the initial stability and such like you have to the spread and together maybe we have the good stability and all the way we can do that. But if we can submerge, maybe we select 1 or 2 implant layer and we use the other good stability, and maybe we also make a provision. So the time is over.
One more question. Regarding your Tony Cap, can we use that in other implants?
Every implant system can use, because Tony Cap is an elastic silicone. So we have different size. We maybe get the small size, middle size, and the bigger size, and you can use every implant system. Depend the abutment, the diameter, or the length of abutment. You can have different select. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Zhou. Sorry for the time limit. We are privileged to give you practice for the